you see a card stacking, one of the propaganda techniques where you tell only your side of the story. Listen to this middle here. And this is where the child is trying to tell their parent that all the other kids have a new tricycle or bicycle, but not me. Here we see the ballot box and another use of propaganda techniques. See, if you're a sucker for propaganda, everybody is voting for Clem. Here we see an elderly person voting for Clem. We see Mr. O'Sullivan voting for Clem, and Mr. Pascal, and Jenny, I believe, Miss Hennell, various other people all voting for Whitham-Park. And the election of that year, Adlai Stevenson versus Mr. Smith. In today's world, it's good to have someone you can believe. On the other hand, the other side called him a radical liberal, name-calling propaganda technique. There we see Mr. Smith, a cartoonist version of him talking and saying, my opponent is a radical liberal. It didn't work, you will recall. And here's Mr. Stevenson himself in person on a poster. And the clever cartooning methods showing him speaking at this time. Here is a debate. The debate was held. And very cleverly, through the great artists in the class, put together this debate. Now we see a film outside, and this Hennell, Mr. Hornick, see, and I believe actually even my own children are in the crowd here briefly, and there's Mr. Williams. Here they go, marching by, different members of the crowd. Oh yes, what a crowd it was. On the Westwood playground, and there is here we see someone who took up acting because of this exposure of himself. Terry Corshon playing the part of Dean Martin. Everybody loves somebody sometime. My dreams will all come true. Something in my heart keeps saying that someone is you. Everybody loves somebody sometime. Drinking Dub beer. He was going to fill up the swimming pool with Dub beer. And so on and so forth. Relax and laid back as in the TV show. Here are testimonials by two testimonial type guys dressed up in the locker room and saying, use this razor blade. No, use that razor blade. The propaganda technique of testimonials, and sometimes the razor is as sharp as they say. There's little James Pace as we go to another segment of the film, one of which will be way ahead of our time with drugs. How do you fight the threat of propaganda from drug dealers? Here we see, not the drug dealing part, a little girl, yes, wanting her way. Everybody else has one again. And are they going to get her a tricycle like all the other kids have? Here is the tricycle. And we will have an outdoor shot riding the tricycle. No, she'll be safe. She'll be careful on her tricycle. Oh yeah. There's the mother hassling the child. Oh no, I would never drive unsafely. Even children use propaganda. And from the crossed fingers, we're not too sure we can believe her. Here she comes, driving not too safely, and being nearly one of the fatalities nearly every year in Park Forest from bike riding. And here's policemen. And there's little Missy. And back here we go. And the policeman walks away. This Pat Martin we saw briefly. There we go. With the big Z and the big H. See what those stand for. Off the corner, the drug dealer and a dumb cousin. The ignorant cousin who is going to try drugs. Mr. Z and Mr. H. Trying drugs, perhaps. Yes, no, I don't know. Look, kid, this is very inconspicuous on the street corner. Would you like to shoot up this bad drug? Crack hasn't been invented yet, but I have something very bad for you, my child. Well, maybe I'll try it. I don't know. Yeah, go right ahead here. And right about now, the police car drives by. Yeah, perfect timing. And the kid gets out of there, as does the drug dealer. Here we see the scene with the more intelligent cousin, who knows not to take drugs, and is coming in here going to not take drugs. Say, take this needle and shove it somewhere in your arm or elsewhere, but not my arm. No drugs. He is not going to take any drugs, no matter what, even though they are being offered to him. Far ahead of our time in dealing with propaganda techniques and drugs. Away, Mr. Drug Dealer. You hippy-dippy drug dealer. Ew, and so be it to all drug dealers. Don't be a sucker for propaganda. Do not be a sucker for propaganda. Whatever you do, don't be a sucker for propaganda. And again, here we see the cast. Boys got along so well. Linau, yes, Tony was it? Mr. Big O Sullivan, yes, Buddy. Got Martin briefly. Missy. There we go. And fine handwriting on the board. There she is. Martin. Listen. Jose. Blushed easily, yes. Zoom out, child, and I think there's even a segment here of the student, teacher, and teacher. Or as a student teacher, correcting a child the way I taught. And there is a brief look at the teacher himself, Mr. Wonderful. And so ends the movie Are You a Sucker for Propaganda from the class of 1970-71, the next to last class, taught by Mr. Whitham-Park Forest.